What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. It's time to take a look ahead to next season for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Coming off a pretty solid season, 13-3, really good year for Penn State. Made the college football playoff semifinals. Their three losses were to number one Oregon, the number one team throughout most of the regular season, and then the two teams that made the national championship, Ohio State and Notre Dame. And looking at what they bring back, yes, they lose some stuff. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But with what they bring back, you could make an argument that this team might need to be the number one team in the country in the preseason going into the season because they bring back Drew Allar. They bring back both their running backs. Now, they do lose some stuff. Like I said, Abdul is gone, going to be a top probably 2 draft pick. They lose Tyler Warren, probably the best tight end in the country. And despite them bringing those pieces back, usually a team that makes the semis, if they bring back their quarterback and running backs, they're going to be in the argument for the number one team. Now, I've got them at number 3 right now behind Texas and Ohio State. But you could definitely make an argument. But James Franklin and Drew Allar have kind of shown, through these last couple of years that there's a ceiling to where they can be. So that's why I don't have them at number 1. Drew Allar, they should have beat Notre Dame. They kind of screwed the pooch there. They really messed up that game. Should have beat Notre Dame, had it in their hands, and they just gave it away. But with what they've got coming back, I think they definitely have a chance to make a run next season at the national championship. And if they can just find and develop one downfield threat, I think they're in good shape. But let's go ahead and look at their schedule next year. We'll look at their transfer portal class they've got coming in and some of the recruits they got coming in. As far as their schedule next year, not just too many losses jumping off the page, really 2 possible, I would say, which is Oregon and Ohio State. Other than that, I'm seeing pretty much probably a cakewalk minus at Iowa. At Iowa is probably the only one you could argue might be a tough game. Other than that, though, Indiana's going to be not near as good as they were this year. And same with Rutgers. So, again, Iowa, Ohio State, and Oregon, those are probably the only 3 games I could see them losing. They're not going to lose all 3 of them, I don't think. As of right now, I'd probably say they lose 1 game. I think they lose to Ohio State. Being host to Oregon, definitely going to help them out there. So I've only got them losing at Ohio State. But looking at real quick their transfer portal class and recruiting class, recruiting numbers wise, they got the 15th recruiting class coming in, 68th transfer portal class. Now, that transfer portal class could get a little better, when we get to the spring game window where guys will, transfer out if they lost the starting job, stuff like that. But recruit-wise, they've got in some 4 stars, tight end, cornerback, linebacker, D lineman. Doubt any of those guys will contribute right away, but you never know. Transfer portal class-wise, they got a late start. Being late into the college football playoff semifinals is going to get you a late start there. They've got 2 wide receivers coming in, though. So hopefully one of those guys, whether it's Ross coming in, whether it's Hudson, hopefully one of those guys can help Drew Allar out a little bit because last year, he just had absolutely nobody that was a downfield threat minus Tyler Warren. Even if you got to, mix in some of the running backs at receiver, something to give Penn State a downfield threat because the defense is going to be good. They're going to have a good run game, but until they develop some type of downfield threat, they're going to have a limit. I don't think they can win a national championship despite how talented the roster is because that talent of that roster last year, they should have been up there. And yeah, they made the semis. They had a argument to almost make the championship, but again, there's just a limit for some reason under James Franklin and Drew Allar that they can't get over that ceiling. They can't beat Ohio State either. So we'll see if that changes this year. But what are your record predictions? What do you think is going to happen for Penn State next season? Let me know. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.